Okay, we are live. Hello, YouTube. Good Thursday, or good evening, or good day, depending on your time and where you are streaming from. First of all, my name is Raman. I'm representing or in place of Emmanuel Jacobs today because today is a very beautiful day for him. I think when he comes back next week, he is going to announce what he's actually doing and the good news around him that he's celebrating today or he celebrated today. Today, there's a particular topic that has always, even to me, been confusing. I haven't fully grasped it, and I believe a lot of us have been seeing it. For example, the domain names are things that everybody understands. You want to build a website, say, oh, you get a domain name .ng, .com, .net, .this, .that. Today, we are looking at blockchain domain name. What is blockchain domain name? We are going to discuss with Ane Elechukwu. He's a blockchain expert, but I will not talk about him today. First of all, he's going to talk about himself by himself so that I don't introduce him wrongly or say things wrongly about him. But again, welcome, guys. If you are here, let us see you make your comment in the chat and say here and tell us where you're coming, streaming from. Introduce yourself and let us know beforehand, before we dive into the topic, what you really want, questions that you want answered by us. And we'll do so much justice to them. We'll try to solve the problems, the myths, the confusions we've had about blockchain domain names today. Anelichukwu, welcome and good evening.
Yeah, thank you so much, Raman, for having me on tonight's session.
Awesome. So tell us about you.
Yeah, I can hear you clearly. Thank you so much for having me on this session. Yeah.
Awesome. So let us meet you.
All right. So my name is Ana Lechuku, and all right, thank you so much. So my name is Ana Lechuku, and I'm a Web3 community guy. I'm basically a community manager building communities around the Web3 space. So I've been able to, interact with lots of projects. I've been able to work with lots of blockchain brands that are currently building amazing stuff. Currently, I'm a community manager for CELO Nigeria, and building around building community for mobile phone users who would love to see blockchain use cases around their mobile devices. So yeah, it's really been an interesting journey throughout 2021. I got into the crypto space, getting to know about crypto, also using that opportunity to also educate others, build a community around the space to spread awareness and also teach more people about what's happening in the blockchain space as well. It has really been an interesting journey, and among all those things, this session is maybe in this session is also one of the amazing things I love to do, and I'm glad to be here tonight. So thank you so much, Raman, for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you for giving us your time. Like I was saying earlier, the domain name has been something that people has not really grasped, even in the Web 2.0 area niche. People buy domain name and they don't really know the value of it. Now, before we go into the value of domain names, let's actually understand what is blockchain domain name.
All right. Before I go to explain blockchain domain names, I would like to break it down, starting with the usual domain names we have.
Awesome.
Domain names are actually what I see as a way to address or give a location of something. So let's assume I want to send a message to you, Raman. Maybe you are in Kenya, and I want to send a message to you. Those days, back in the days, we previously used letter, instead of using internet because internet wasn't existent then. So if I want to send a letter to you, I would have to, include your location, that is the recipient's location, and I would also have to include the sender's location, which is my own location, so that if I send you the letter, I would also be able to get a feedback from you once I send the letter.
Awesome.
So in doing that, it is now kind of the domain name is now like having an address, a locator that helps give direction to whatever you're looking for or where a message to be sent. So in that aspect, I would like to direct it to what we call Internet Protocol Address, which is also known as IP addresses. So IP addresses is
Okay.
actually a string of numbers that give location to a certain thing on the internet, even on the computer system. So if I'm trying to maybe check up a website, almost all websites they do have their own IP addresses, which is those string numbers. Like if you use MTN Wi-Fi regularly, that's the MTN Pocket Wi-Fi, you would see that you
Yeah.
need to use some codes to gain access to the website. That's just a kind of a simple way of describing these IP addresses. So what the IP address
Okay.
does is to just give you direct access to um, the website you're looking for. So it's like a location of where something is. But technology has actually evolved to the extent whereby we've tried to solve lots of little problems we have seen in existence, just like the IP address issue. IP address is actually numbers, and for you to visit websites, it might really be difficult for you to locate almost all the websites you want to just using IP addresses. So, human readable characters had to be introduced. Looking to the fact that let's say all websites have their own IP addresses and they are trying to punch in 127.098.0.1. All those things are
That'll be
much more
cumbersome.
difficult. And let's say tomorrow
That'll be
somebody
so
asks you,
confusing.
okay, go and visit this website. You start thinking about the numbers, but they had to make it human readable so that you can easily read and type it in. If somebody says visit raman.com, it's RAMAN instead of visit 12345, all those things. So, human readable yeah, human readable text makes it much more easier for us to read. So that's why we have
Yeah.
domain names. So domain names make it easier for us to locate certain something. So how it all works is that once I impute a domain name on the website, then it will
Hmm.
direct me through the IP address. So that's why sometimes you hear that someone for someone personal details or someone's location was gotten through his IP address on the internet. That happens because the IP address is kind of a locator, it gives a location. So but to make it easier using the room human readable text, you can then go ahead to merge the human readable text to the IP addresses. Then that makes it much more easier for you to just impute it to the computer system. Then it goes through what they call a resolver, which tries to interpret the human readable text to what to the numbers, the IP addresses itself, then direct you to
Yeah.
where the information you're looking for on the internet is located. So that's basically how it all works. So they're going to the blockchain domain aspect. You know, things are changing these days. We are evolving, as I keep saying, and getting to see
Yeah.
how the crypto domain name works. It has lots of other better features than the current domain name, the Web2 domain name we have currently. So, and these things are something I will list out later. But one of the basic one is that the features that cryptocurrencies have, domain names have actually come to make it easier. Going in terms of payment and remittances, you can have cryptocurrency wallet addresses for sending and
Yeah.
receiving cryptocurrencies. And if I send you a crypto wallet address, you would receive, maybe let's say it's a Bitcoin legacy wallet address, you will see something like one and different kind of characters and alpha numerics and all those things. It might much be difficult for somebody to actually copy, read, and all those things. If you miss a single letter, you know that you've really missed quite a lot, and you definitely lose the money on the space. But
That's
having
true.
a human readable domain names makes it much more easier to facilitate transactions. So and this thing works, using the same resolver, but this time around, the domain name you actually acquire will be merged to a certain wallet address which you use to acquire it. So using ENS for an instance, ENS is Ethereum naming service. So once you use a wallet address, you connect it to the ENS mobile platform. You go ahead to search up for a domain name you want to mint. Now once you acquire
Yeah.
that, somebody can equally send you crypto through that domain name, but once the domain name is used as a payment as a payment number or something, it goes through not just through the ENS, but also through the wallet address which you sent it to. So what the domain name does there is just to make it clear for people to easily read, um, you know, the details and all those things. So that's basically. So if I'm to send you crypto and you have maybe Raman.it, then I can easily send you crypto using the domain name instead of just sending through your wallet address 0x numbers, and so on and so forth. So that's just
Yeah.
making things that are much more difficult to read human readable. So that's just one of the major use of crypto domain names. Yeah.
So to put it in a layman form, work with me so that so that it looks like I understand you, and then our audience that are not crypto savvy or blockchain savvy will be on the same page with us. For
Right.
example, if I'm on a street and I have a shop, so the domain name is likened to the name of my shop that I put on the billboard that is on my shop with the address of my shop. So I could go to Google to put my name on Google Map and type in that name with the address. So when they click, once you check, maybe you use Bolt or Google Map to try to locate me. Once you just click on my name, it brings my name instead of the full address that can be confusing, either the name that you can't pronounce or the numbers that you can't get. But it brings exactly my name. As you click it, it brings you straight from where you are to my shop physically. You understand what I mean? So
Well,
I want to try to see if you're on the same page. But before we go on, Salia Opeyemi and Dube Mbachu are online. So I want to welcome you guys. Peace. Sorry, Anelichuku, I'm back to you.
all right. So well, it's not just limited to getting to see personal location. It's not just about getting to read personal location. I'm just saying
Yeah,
that crypto domain names are doing exactly what your wallet addresses do, but they kind of come with better features that makes them useful, compared to when you're using the usual wallet addresses. So for instance, let's talk about building of websites. You can build and have your Web3 website on your crypto domain name instead of just having um your wallet address. And this your website, instead of being stored on a Web2 server, you can have it in an IPFS, which is an interplanetary file system that stores, the website data and the details you have there. So it's kind of bringing Web3 and making it, awesome in that way. So instead of somebody visiting and Web3 domain names actually have their own domain names I can mention. You have .it, you have so majority of all these blockchain projects actually have their own domain name
yeah,
being launched. You also have I think
okay,
one of the major blockchain domain name company we have Unstoppable Web. We have Web3 domain names. We have for BSC we have .bnb. We have .nom for CELO blockchain, and we have there are lots of them out there. But what they are all trying to do is to ensure that they make it easy for you to read and run transactions, financial transactions, without having to engage with the wallet address. Instead, you are just doing with the human readable characters. And also there are these new social media platforms that are being introduced, which are actually Web3. Like we have Status.
yeah,
You also have Jabba by Bonfide, I think. Yeah, Bonfida, which is building on Solana blockchain. Yeah. So instead of chatting with somebody and wallet addresses are showing, you can equally have a domain name that shows something like Vitalik.it on Status social media app. You can have Vitalik.it
yeah,
start chatting with you instead of having just wallet address chatting with you. So it makes it much more clear and I should say makes the user experience much more fun than just having chatting with wallet addresses and all those things. So the core thing there for any newbie to understand is about just the simplicity that crypto domain names introduce. Although it has bigger features that comes with this, but the simplicity that it comes with, makes it much more
yeah,
useful. Imagine sending money to somebody via wallet addresses and something you could just send to maybe the crypto
yeah,
or something you can send to, yeah, You can send to Raman.it, something like that, and you have to just copy wallet addresses to. No, 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 no. It's gonna be tough. So crypto
Yeah,
domain names are just to
I
simplify
have
almost everything
in the
about
past.
transactions in the crypto space.
In the past, when it was just Bitcoin, I had sent a coin into a wrong wallet address because I didn't get exactly, and I didn't completely copy the link, the entire address. So today, if I'm trying to send anything, yeah, token or coin, I will have to read through and be sure I did not
Yeah.
make a mistake and be sure I did not copy it wrongly. So with the domain name, if your domain name is fancy and simple words, you are stylish. And
Yeah.
from what you're saying, I'm seeing it from the branding area because any blockchain project is highly affinitive to branding. So it helps you stand out as a blockchain expert or a crypto person or someone in that industry and trying to make a name for yourself. It helps you stand out. From what you've explained, I think those of us that are pretty novice and not very high tech when it comes to Web3 or blockchain, it's easy for us to now see the reason to want to purchase a blockchain domain name. That's right, because it's really not expensive compared. It's almost the same price with the .com, .org, .net domain names that we buy, and then we can run with it. But now this is my core area. This is where I want to, in as much as you've mentioned some areas that one or two areas that are differences between
Yeah.
them. What do you think are the core differences? Like if it's up to five, seven, what are the core differences that will make somebody say, oh, this is a Web2 domain name, this is a Web3 domain name? Is it the look? Is it the extension? Is it their behavior? Is it the technology? Which area? What are the core differences of this? Are you there?
All right. So there are a few things that once you look at it, you get to discover. Yeah, I'm here
Okay.
with you. So first of all, you look at the extension. So the extension, majority of Web3 domain names these days actually have, their extension named after the blockchain they are being built on. So you can have .argo for Algorand blockchain, you have .nom for CELO blockchain, you have .sol for Solana blockchain. There are lots of them out there. So you can know by the extension, and you can also get to, find out by the product itself, what it entails, like what the domain name is all about. Because if you look at the extension itself, like from other extensions of the Web2 domain name platforms, you'll see that you have .tech, which is all about tech platforms or tech companies. You look at .commercial, which is .com. You look at .edu, which is for schools. So the extension is the major thing that can easily let you know that, okay, this is a Web3 domain name, or this is a Web2 domain name. So, but if you go deeper to look into the domain name itself, trying to maybe visit the platform, see how it works and all those things, then you would also find out whether it's a Web3 domain name by going further. There is a kind of a search engine that is created for Web3 domain names specifically, especially when you want to visit Web3 domain name websites. Um, you have
Yeah.
um, you have bits.search. You have there's a way it's written bits.search that you can equally visit. Then you enter the domain name there and search. You get to see the website that is built on the Web3 space, all stored on the IPFS or any decentralized
Okay.
storage system on the blockchain. So, and another thing is that you can equally use it to maybe scan transactions. Although people do complain of anonymity, but I see anonymity as one of the features of blockchain and something that you can equally agree that, okay, is something you want to use or you don't want to use. Talking about anonymity that blockchain Bitcoin itself introduced by Satoshi Nakamoto, we have to send with wallet addresses. But this time around, if let's say you have Raman.
Oh, okay. I think we've lost him. Um, well, while we wait for him to come back to try to explain to us the difference between blockchain, I would like us to, ask some questions in case we have questions. Let me see. I think he's coming back. Let me try to bring him back in.
I think I lost my internet.
Yeah, you are back.
All right. Sorry for
You're
that. I
back.
think I lost my.
No
I
problem. No
had a
problem.
tech issue. Yeah.
No, we get you.
Yeah. Sure. Thank
Where
you.
we are, we cannot constantly be
All right. So
completely
I
put our
I
hope on
was saying
internet.
that
Yeah. Welcome back. Continue. Go on. Go on.
yeah. Sure. Yeah. So I was talking about identifying Web3 domain name. I mentioned Yeah, I mentioned the bit.search that you can use. And also have BlockScan that you can equally use to gain access to these domain names and see what they actually be. I think there is a Web3 platform that is trying to build a kind of a Web3 version of YouTube. It's called DTube, and you can equally visit that, but you can only browse it and see the content on the Web3 search engine. And also, you also have this Brave website, the Brave crypto app where the Brave crypto browser, yeah. So they also
Yeah.
have their own Web3 version, like a decentralized website, but I think it's Brave.crypto, but you can only visit it through that same Web3 search engine. So, one thing about crypto domain names now is that majority of people have not really beginning to, see the major use cases. People who go into domain names for now, they are just in for the fun or maybe for the 10x of the cryptocurrencies they are investing in. So, but the core thing is that,
Yeah.
we are still in the building phase of getting to see further features of these Web3 domain names. And it's something that would really be interesting for to see further use cases that will definitely come in, you know, from the space itself. So yeah, that's basically what I can say about that now.
Oh, awesome, awesome. Talking about use cases, like major use cases and all that. When Mark Zuckerberg tried to introduce the Meta, when he changed the name to Meta, he did a demo of himself sparring, martial arts sparring with somebody in the Web3 space. And then I now want to think, oh, he's gone again. Uh, Okay. Debem, are you yabbing our boss and saying if he's using Glow? Is Glow not part of the networks in Nigeria? Oh God. So while he's trying to come on, get back online, let me try and just throw light on this so that when he comes on, he will continue and try to educate us on that area. Use case, I think he's back again. Let me bring him in. Uh, let me try and bring him in. Hold on, guys.
Uh,
Welcome back.
yeah, thank you so much. I don't know what's wrong with my network, but it's fine. You
I
can go ahead.
I can understand. I get you. So can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly, loud and clear.
Awesome. So I was going to, get us try to explain, ask some question about use cases. You get major use cases. Up until now, the only thing I've seen people when they hear of crypto or the blockchain, they think about buying the token or buying coins and to invest and to trade. And I've tested a whole lot of use cases on the digital swap platform. What we constantly do is test use cases for projects that come in and potential use cases that could come in the future. You get, because this serves as a lot of study for people that are willing to do research for the future and build for the future for what they want to use the Web3 for. Now, what do you think? I don't want to go through all the crypto or blockchain areas or coins or tokens. I want to focus on the blockchain domain names or crypto domain names. What do you think are the major use cases for these domain names?
All right, so we have variety of use cases coming on around the domain names. Let me start with the
Yeah,
website aspect, building a Web3 website. You can equally have your Web3 website, that's a decentralized website built with your Web3 domain name. Talking like,
yeah,
okay, visiting something like Vitalik.it. Like I already mentioned, DTube.crypto. We already have Brave.crypto, kind of a Web3 version of their main Web2 website. So there are actually lots of
Mm-hmm.
other features like, I'm talking about rewards and tips. Let's say for instance, I'm going through your Twitter handle right now, and maybe I see some amazing content that you've been building. I was like, wow, I really love the way you create content, your Twitter threads and all those. And I felt like, okay, let me just reward this guy. Something like this, buy me a coffee that I usually see on the website. Yeah, you can just feel like
Yeah.
rewarding somebody or tipping somebody. And through that, once you have the person's crypto domain name, if you go to Twitter, you see majority of people using their crypto domain name as their name on Twitter. So if you see something like that, you can
Mm,
equally get the person's domain name, and tip the person without even having to ask for wallet address and all those things. So,
exactly.
it makes it much more easier. So another one is payment and remittances. Let's say I would have to, make payment for a product I want to buy or something. I can easily say, okay, just type in raman.it and send me some Ethereum. It makes it much more easier instead of sending you my wallet address to forward to you for you to, reward me or something like that, or pay me. So, these are the major use cases from website building to payment remittances to rewards and tips and so on and so forth. And also every other use case that around the usual domain name we have is also something
Yeah.
that stands for the Web3 domain names. So that's basically
Awesome.
the kind of major ones I can mention for now. Yeah.
Awesome. Sally and the baby, if you have questions, you can bring them on, because this conversation is going like a little more tactical. We are going into the woods, and Adele is not, he's not trying to economize his words. He's just bringing it out. But because most of the things we learn here today, you may have to go and do a little research, check it out on Google, and see and learn more, or ask more questions. We take Q&A off the screen in a way that we'll answer you, or we could shoot him a message for him to respond to the questions that you're not able to answer today because of the overwhelm that you feel. Now, my point is this now, or my confusion is this. The both are similar. You get, both looks really similar, and if we look at them on the browser, they actually look like there's no difference between the Web3 or blockchain domain name and the regular or Web2 or regular domain names. You get, now, what it will now take me to security. Passwords that are simpler are easier, they are easily hacked. Now, with this blockchain domain names, with the domain names, I mean, um, let's say it is easier. How do you consider it security wise? Like, will it still remain as secure as the full wallet address, with all the numbers that people cannot cram, or it's making it porous? How is the security feature like? How strong is it to be broken into? And then how secure are people's data when they go into this? And then, are there platforms that sell domain names that are more secure than others at other areas? So those are my concern, and I feel that people want to have this concern. People have this concern as well, and then they are skeptical about it.
All right. So, when I mentioned earlier about domain names, I talked about a domain name serving as address locators. Something that can show you where
Yeah,
something is stored or something is kept, or where you can gain information
exactly.
from. So, it's not about the address, but it's about the location itself. Domain names are just to help you make human readable content, computer readable content to be human readable, because computers read in
Yeah.
numbers, but we read in characters. So, it's just to
Mm-hmm.
make it easy for us to read the content itself. So, I can't really say that crypto domain names are something you can easily hack, but that is not even where the focus is, because it's just like an address. But you can maybe want to get to talk more about the system that creates these or mints these domain names. Because right now in the Web3 space, almost anything can happen at any moment, because there could be a fault somewhere, maybe a line of code of code where you're supposed to have a semicolon and you have a comma there, somebody can easily go and exploit it, and it's just all crazy. So, but for the crypto domain names, it doesn't really have any direction to where you can say exploit or security issues, so because it's just kind of telling you an address of something. You can't really say that, okay, because google.com is existent, or because people know it, you then say that, okay, Google can easily be hacked or have a security issue. No, what it just gives you is just an address of Google website or Google platform itself. So the only thing that you would have issue with is Google central system itself. But Web3 domain names are actually related to the decentralized storage space. So,
Yeah.
for you to gain access to that, it means that you have to deal with blockchain itself, which is also going to be a major issue around. And I think the difficulty of easily getting easily hacked, or security difficulty is quite high. So it's something that really is
Yeah.
interesting compared to the Web2 space as we have it.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you for answering that question,
Yeah.
and thank you for clarifying it. Moving on, or moving back towards the use case scenario, because I think the functionality, which is popularly known as use case, is most important, because that is where the opportunities are. How you use a particular thing, how you implement a particular thing. That is where people feel more interested in. So, which leads me to the question: why is the domain name important for
All right.
either if for okay, go on.
All right, yeah. So there are lots of benefits of using the domain name. Looking to the fact that okay, looking at what I've mentioned earlier, being easy to read, the addresses instead of reading the names instead of wallet addresses is one of the necessity
Mm,
that is quite important in this space. And also in terms of identification, it is much more easier to identify a domain name or someone's crypto domain name than identifying a wallet address. Because if somebody has, let's say for instance, it is Vitalik.it, you definitely know that, okay,
yeah,
is either this wallet address belongs to Vitalik Buterin and not maybe a random person. And these days, if you go online, you see, maybe on YouTube, you see Ethereum giveaway as adverts on some YouTube videos I've seen severally. And you
yeah,
see where they say, send to this crypto address, Ethereum address, send 0.182. Those things are quite funny. So, but imagine
yeah,
them telling you send to this domain name, crypto domain name address, which is vitalik.it.
yeah,
You know that, okay, this
yeah,
particular domain name does not actually belong to Ethereum or Vitalik itself or something like that. So it helps you make it easy to be able to read and identify who actually owns a certain wallet address. So that's just one of the amazing benefit that comes with it. And also talking about sending and receiving crypto assets, avoiding making unnecessary mistakes while sending cryptocurrencies is also one of the amazing things that it brings around.
yeah,
And talking about domain names as well is something of the future. I see that is definitely going to have lots of adoption, lots of people getting to use these domain names. So it's going to definitely be quite interesting because imagine being left behind after all this noise and everything, people getting to talk about domain names and all, and
yeah,
you don't even know what domain names are all about. So that's just
yeah,
one of the amazing things. And also another thing I can talk about is ownership. Um, um,
yeah,
this time around you can equally own domain names without having them in the Web2 space. There are lots of things that could happen in Web2 space, and you could lose literally all you have because they are all stored in a central server. But if you come into a decentralized ecosystem, talking about ownership, you get to see that almost everything you own is belongs to you, unless somebody hacks into your own wallet. So stealing from your personal funds and all those things would totally be difficult. So getting to own domain names, I also see domain names as NFTs, but this time around, I think they are much more bigger than NFTs because you cannot have maybe a times two format or kind of a copy of it. Okay, let me give you for instance, you have CryptoPunks. Now,
yeah,
CryptoPunks as an NFT, you can have 10,000 copies of it, let's say, for instance, I want to buy a certain CryptoPunk and somebody else buys it. I can decide to say, okay, let me just go and buy maybe the number 9,000 CryptoPunk I feel like I like. But if you have a domain name, Raman.it, you are the only one that you're the only person that has it. Nobody can say tomorrow, okay, let
That's
me
true.
have another copy of Raman.it because it doesn't have a times two. So it makes it much more unique. So uniqueness is also one of the amazing things I can talk about too. Looking at how
Awesome.
companies are getting to adopt domain names, it's really going to be happening so crazy and so fast. Using what happened back then in Nigeria as an example, when Davido was trying to buy his username on Twitter, he's the only one that could have
Yeah.
Davido, as a username on Twitter and so on and so forth. So, um, for the person who already owns it, there's no way you can come to him and snatch it away from him because he already purchased it before you.
Exactly.
So that's just one of
That's
the
true.
funny thing around the Web3 domain name space. If you allow somebody to get it before you, then you have to beg the person or you have to buy it from the person to get it. So it's just crazy, but
Yeah.
it's something that's why education is quite important. If you like your own name, like maybe analytical.it, and I really like that name, I could just go ahead to buy it first because I already have the knowledge. Go ahead to buy all the domain names around my name first before somebody gets it before me. And
If
that's just it
even
because if
if
somebody gets it
even in the
before
Web
you,
two space, even in the Web
yeah,
two
yeah,
space,
it's
people
it's
bought domain names very cheap, and they went on to sell it up to $10,000, $1 million, and all that. I saw a domain name sold for $1 million, and it was wow. And this thing that happens when you want to set up a business, and then the domain name is important, and someone has
it's,
bought
it's
that
not
domain name.
there.
You are
Yeah,
now left. You are now left with other extensions that have not been bought. You get, or look for a lot of money to go and pitch to the person to sell the domain name to you.
exactly.
You get, so it's a whole lot. Now, are we people that don't have their own blockchain domain name? Are they late? And people that have it, are they too early? Is it is if people want to buy now, is it are they in the right time, or they are way ahead of themselves?
Well, looking at level of adoption and awareness of crypto domain names, I can say that we are too early. Not just early, but if I can add like plenty of two to the statement, it's gonna be like too early. Like because many people don't still know about domain names, and those who know
Agree.
and are wise, like those who already have the information and also have the money, like they are almost trying to acquire all the domain names they can with the little money they have because they know that once they acquire that, buying a domain name is like buying a land. In future, somebody will want to build
Yeah.
with that particular land, so they're already going in for it. So, but this also drags me to the point of me talking about law issues because I've gotten notice that some people actually buy some domain names because they have evil mindsets, maybe because they want to steal funds from people, or maybe because they want to dupe others, run malicious activities, or even pull a brand or a project down. Okay, let me give you an instance.
Yeah.
Let's say tomorrow, I bought Tesla.it. Let's assume I bought Tesla.it and it has not been bought by maybe Elon Musk or any part of the team on Tesla. And maybe tomorrow I kind of go to Twitter and let people know that I actually have this Tesla.it, and maybe I'm trying to send an email and tell somebody to send me some Ethereum to Tesla.it. Somebody who sees that would assume that okay, this is actually the real Tesla, not knowing that it has been in my own custody or somebody else's custody. So it
Mm.
kind of poses a major issue, and there are lots of laws around different countries that says that okay, if you are caught doing this, maybe because you bought this domain name in order to resell it a higher price because you know that it's a celebrity that owns it. Okay, let's say for instance now the time that domain names were introduced, you see people rushing to buy Elon, you see people rushing to buy SpaceX, you see people rushing to buy Tesla
Yeah.
because they know that once they purchase it, definitely Elon Musk will definitely want to come and gain access to those domain
Negotiate,
names.
negotiate
You know,
to purchase it from
Exactly,
them.
exactly, exactly. So that's kind of a bad problem. I should call it an issue because it would cause major problems of people getting to buy or companies getting to spend a whole lot of money just to buy domain names. So, but with having that in mind, I can't really talk more about the penalties that come with this rules or regulations within different countries. But it's just to let people be aware that even the regular Web2 domain names that we have, or the Web3 domain names that have been introduced. I don't know much about the Web3 space right now because I think there are still regulations that are still coming in different aspects. I don't think it has gotten to the domain name aspects. But even in the Web2 space, there are lots of rules that guide the usage of domain names, whereby you can easily get to acquire them, and you could put yourself in trouble with that. All right, so that's basically
Awesome,
around the
awesome.
law issues.
That's a great insight. I remember a popular scenario that happened here in Nigeria, Linda Keji, when she was using, she wasn't using she didn't bother buying a domain name, and somebody bought the domain name, I think so. And when she was now like, oh, you have to get a domain name, I think Google shut down her site because of that. And then there was no domain name available for her on her name. She now had to buy, she had to now make an extension, which is for me, I feel people that see the future faster and buys it today will always win. But people that wait, their future will become a little more expensive for them to acquire. You get the fact that you have a dream or you had a dream doesn't mean somebody cannot tap into that dream and own the dream before you do, before you actually wake up to
Yeah,
acquiring your dream. You get what I mean? Before we go on, we're actually rounding up. So because of that,
that is true.
the BAME is asking, where can you sell domain names and the app to sell it to someone? That's a question.
That is right. Exactly.
Do you have the answer to the question?
All right. So you can actually sell domain names depending on where you acquire them from. Yes. And selling domain names, for example, looking at ENS, you can equally sell these domain names on NFT marketplaces, but it all depends on where they are being listed. And you can also sell it P2P. Let's say somebody is interested, you can just push the domain name to the person's wallet address, and the person becomes the new primary owner. So but aside that, majorly domain names can be gotten from NFT marketplaces. So let's say, for example, if you want to get .it domain names, you can just visit OpenSea and you see where they are all listed. You can equally mint your own if it has not been minted already. But if you want to buy, I think minting is kind of much more better because there are still lots of other names that has not been created yet. But you can equally mint. But if you want to buy an already minted domain name, you can just go ahead to search it on OpenSea NFT marketplace. Then you can find some. And also, there are also some websites that provide you with these domain names that you can buy. I think Unstoppable Web is also a platform where you can just visit and gain access to this domain name and also acquire
Yeah.
them yourself. And one thing there is that there are also newer domain names that have been introduced, not just .it, .so, or the bigger blockchains we have. There are also like .bits, crypto, which some are being introduced by different crypto brands or Web3 platforms. So, but
Yeah.
selling them, it could be P2P, or it could be within that same platform, or it could be through an NFT marketplace. So that's just the three major places you can get them.
Awesome. Anele, thank you so much. But before I allow you go, before I let you go and say the last bye bye, is this: the thing happening to Bitcoin. They are usually when in the numbers game, people that cry negativity are way more than people that understand it and are positive about a particular project or industry and all that. Now, Bitcoin has been going down, and people are like, they've lost their money. Crypto and Bitcoin is wrong business to go into right now, or wrong area to go into right now. What do you recommend people should do? For me, I feel like the blockchain crypto has come to stay. the same way USD and other currencies are, the same way Web2, Facebook, Google are. The demands are going really high. So when the demands are going really high, it is that way. And then supply and demand happens all the time. Do you recommend people to go into this? Because if you say yes now, I'll start looking for people like Dubin so we can start buying a lot of domain names and stacking them, or minting a lot of domain names and stacking them so that we can sell them in the future. Who knows what will happen in 2 or 3 years' time? You get? So do you recommend it? And if you are recommending it, what is the strategy? Like, briefly explain the strategy that you use. You advise somebody to use or suggest.
All right. So okay. So before going into recommending giving my response to that, I would just like to talk a little bit about what's currently happening in the crypto markets. I can say that,
Awesome.
what we are experiencing currently is just a kind of it's just a regular thing in the market space, because they usually say that history repeats itself. So always expect a
Yeah.
bear market after a bull market, because it's very, very obvious and very clear. So, and also in crypto space, there are lots of rules that are applied. Do not invest more than, these people that complain are people who have invested more than they can afford to lose. They just carry all their
Yeah.
money and they just put it there, and at the end of the day, they keep complaining that they have lost a fortune from the crypto investment and all those things. So, there are just a lot of little rules that you need to follow in the Web3 space that will definitely help you to avoid those huge losses and all. So, and also education is quite very, very important, because it is those who know. Because right now, for me personally, if I look at the trading charts, I'll see in general where the market is moving, because we all have a market chart. We have accumulation phase, we have acceleration phase, we have the climax, we also have the declining phase, and also we go back to accumulation phase. It's just like a recycle. So if me personally look at the trading chart and I see what Bitcoin is doing, I can easily detect that, okay, maybe in 2, 3, 4 months time, maybe markets would be a bull season or a bear market. Then I'll then take my own personal financial decision. But whatever I'm saying here is not a
Yeah.
financial advice. I'm just saying it for educational purposes only. So I'm talking about the crypto
Awesome.
domain names aspect. I think it would really be nice if you would take it as a business, because there's what they call domain name flipping. There are people who actually buy domain names in order to resell them at a higher price or something. So you could equally
Yeah.
take domain name as a business. You can maybe stack as much as you can, then maybe probably push them to an NFT marketplace and resell them at any amount you want to, at any reasonable amount you want to, because you wouldn't want to dupe anyone huge amount of money because of domain names, although it's quite possible.
Yeah.
So, but that's just major thing you could probably do. But whatever money you are putting in the Web3 space or as an investment or anything, just know that you shouldn't put more than you can afford to do. So that's just what I can say about that.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Anele. We're going to do a part 2 of this. The part 2 will be minting your domain name versus buying an already minted domain names. So we'll stack them side by side and see where people should go into and why they should go into other one. I've made this bold promise here publicly, so we'll do a part 2 of this and a follow up. Hope you oblige us and you come and then share this with us, right? Awesome.
Yeah, sure. I'll be glad to do that.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm excited for this. We've done 48
Yeah.
minutes already. My power just went off, but then we are done. Currently done. Hold on. Let me bring in an external light. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, guys, thank you so much. Have a great evening.
Yeah. Bye, everyone.